public hearing item that we don't need a vote for. So we'll take that discussion item first and give some time for the other members, but that way we're not holding everybody else up. Is that okay? Okay. So with that, I think we need to start with a roll call, even though we're not going to have quorum, but go ahead.
Okay. Carr, Cruz, Fox, Frost.
Here.
Gaylord, Guerra.
Here.
Hanson, Harris.
Here.
Kennedy.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Natoli, Peters, Cerna, and Terry.
Here? Okay, so at this point, we do not have a quorum, but we'll go ahead and go to the pledge, and we'll be led by Mayor Lee.
Stand this flag and pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and can we have the clerk say the announcements?
This meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District is cablecast live without interruption on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T UVerse cable system. This meeting is being closed captioned and will be webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. Today's meeting will be repeated on Saturday, July 28th, 2018 at 2 p.m. and Sunday, July 29th at 8 p.m. on Channel 14. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker form located on the table at the back of the chambers and give it to the clerk. Please speak into the microphone when addressing the board and state your name for the record. Also at this time, please silence your cell phones until the conclusion of today's meeting.
Thank you. And so with that, and without objection, we'll move on to discussion calendar items, item 7, which is our zero emissions mobility efforts.
One second. Can I get the presentation to come up, please?
As the presentation comes up, I'll provide some context for the board. What we wanted to do with this presentation is bring you some of the very exciting news about the many programs that we're putting together at the district in concert with many partners that are here today. So we want to give the board a sense of all the great mobility innovation concepts that we're trying out. Some of it on our own, some of it using other programs and funding that is available. So we're hoping that this is going to lead to a real transformation in terms of not just better transportation, but better mobility in our region. And the fact that we're leading the pack is relevant for you all to know and to be aware so that you can communicate with your constituents. And obviously, we're going to keep an eye on not what we're doing and staying there, but where can we take it next. So with that.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Terry, Vice Chair Guerra, and board members. I'm Cindy Mann, Program Supervisor of our Mobile Sources section. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking to you about zero-emission mobility efforts that are taking place in our region. The district vision is clean, carbon-free air for all, and our mission is to achieve state and federal clean and air climate goals. We know that 70% of the emissions in our basin are due to mobile sources. So in order to achieve our vision of clean air, we need to promote the use of clean technology. To ensure clean, carbon-free air for all, we need to provide access to the clean technology throughout the region, including the underserved and disadvantaged communities. These are key strategies in our zero-emission mobility efforts. The goal of our zero-emission mobility efforts are to deploy clean, low-carbon transportation into our communities, increasing access to these clean technologies, and promoting multimodal transportation. For the zero-emission technologies not only benefits the individual community's public health and air quality, but provides mobility access for workforce, medical, education, resources, and an overall better lifestyle. In the coming months and years, the capital region will begin to see a massive transition to low-carbon transportation. This is due to the unique opportunity and moment in time where many factors are converging to successfully deploy innovative zero-emission technology. This synergy is possible in part due to the millions of dollars we have received in cap and trade funding. Zero-emission technology is now viable and readily available. Our communities are now readily accepting the technology for a sustainable future and the political will to make things happen. I've been joined today by some of our partners to highlight some of the zero-emission mobility efforts that are taking place in our capital region. First, I would like to introduce Tony Gonzalez from Electrify America.
Thank you, honorable members. My name is Tony Gonzalez. I represent Electrify America, which is a subsidiary of Volkswagen North America, which was created largely to promote awareness and encourage ultimate adoption, widespread adoption of electric vehicles in the United States, but really with a strong focus in California. Electrify America is very, very happy to partner with the City of Sacramento to have made the City of Sacramento our first green city, which means a number of things. And we'll have our partners with GIG and Envoy and SAC-RT mention, go into a little bit more of the details as to what these different mobility programs are all about, but I'd just like to mention them very broadly and briefly. The first is our GIG car share service, which will operate within a 13 square mile home zone in the city of Sacramento, which is essentially a point-to-point car share service that GIG will talk about in detail in a few minutes. We will also have or what we call our Envoy service, which will involve a round-trip mobility functionality. Of course, these are with electric vehicles. I think that goes without saying, but I do need to mention that we are talking about a large fleet of electric vehicles, both for the GIG and the Envoy service. Also, we are working with SAC-RT to provide electric buses for a bus service between UC Davis, West Sacramento, downtown Sacramento, and the UC Davis Med Center in Sacramento, in Oak Park. Last but not least, of course, is our Franklin Boulevard shuttle service, also partnering with SAC-RT and Yolo County, no, I'm sorry, not Yolo County, SAC-RT to provide a mobility service along the Franklin Boulevard corridor, which will be up and running fairly soon. The electric buses are being manufactured. My best understanding is that they'll be available here in Sacramento the first quarter of 2019. We will also, of course, be installing electric charging stations for our buses and for our vehicles, high-speed charging stations, L2 charging stations, and we're working through permitting issues to get through that, but we expect to be up and running fairly soon. The total investment by Electrify America will be about $44 million over the term of these investments. And I think I'll leave our partners, to go into a little bit more detail about these services, but I'll also be available for any questions you might have. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Tony. We appreciate Electrify America's efforts throughout our region. Next, I would like to welcome Jennifer Gress from the City of Sacramento.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Electrify America's investments build on our existing work to promote EVs in Sacramento and are helping to catalyze a larger transformation in mobility, electrification, and shared or pooled trips, all with the goals of providing our residents more options to get where they need and want to go, and to do so in the cleanest manner possible. The city's framework for zero-emission mobility is embodied in our EV strategy, which the City Council adopted in December of last year, the first of its kind for the City of Sacramento. The EV strategy establishes a vision for zero-emission transportation, and it identifies 11 different goals and key actions we are committing to undertake to achieve those goals. Embedded in our strategy is a vision based on 4 principles: enhancing the mobility options of our lower income residents in disadvantaged communities, strengthening first mile, last mile connections to transit, positioning Sacramento as a hub for the demonstration and deployment of zero-emission technologies and innovative models to facilitate mobility, and establishing ladders of opportunity for our residents. This isn't just about helping people get to jobs. It's also about creating jobs and training opportunities in a new economy that's based on clean energy and transportation. To achieve this vision, we have set some pretty ambitious goals. 75,000 ZEVs by 2025. 75,000 is over 23 times our current number of 3,200. Another key metric is number of households with the ZEV. Currently, 2% of households do, and we're striving to get to 35% by 2025. And we aim to get to 40% of annual sales being ZEVs by 2025, up from 2% today. These goals are based on Sacramento's share of Governor Jerry Brown's goal of 1.5 million ZEVs on California's roads by 2025. Electrify America's investments will certainly go a long way to helping the city achieve its goals. Tony provided an overview of Electrify America's investments, and I want to highlight two specific projects. The first is GIG's car sharing service. GIG operates a free float model of car share, where a user can pick up and drop off a car anywhere within a 13 square mile home zone. And for reference, the home zone in GIG's service is pretty similar to Jump Bike's home zone. There'd be a total of 260 ZEVs operating in Sacramento, which is a significant investment in electric shared mobility. As I mentioned, investing in low-income and disadvantaged communities is an important priority to the city, and we are very pleased that 70% of GIG's home zone consists of low-income or disadvantaged communities. And 75% of the developments where Envoy will be operating are located in such communities. The second project I want to highlight is the ZEV shuttle that will operate between the University of California Davis main campus and the UC Davis Medical Center here in Sacramento. This will replace an existing shuttle service that UC Davis operates solely for its students and faculty, currently with hourly service. The new service will be open to the public with stops in West Sacramento and downtown, and include 15-minute headways during peak hours and 30-minute headways at other times. We're really excited about this new service as it will facilitate access to the university and to Sacramento and enhance the connectivity and collaboration between these communities to foster economic development. Before concluding, I want to leave you with three thoughts. First, the transition to zero emission and shared mobility is occurring right now, and we want to ensure that Sacramento is in the best possible position to take advantage of it. Second, when you take into consideration the range of investments we are collectively making in transportation, jump bike share, microtransit, car share, EV charging, complete streets, we are building a holistic mobility system that reduces and for some eliminates the need for personal auto trips. And we're also increasing the likelihood that the personal auto trips that do occur will be in EVs. These investments are necessary to enhance access, improve air quality, combat climate change, reduce congestion, and promote economic growth and vitality for the region. This is an exciting time for mobility in Sacramento. And finally, when talking about our efforts to promote ZEVs, we're often asked about lessons learned or key principles that other cities can learn from our experience about. And what I always say is that regional collaboration key. That is Sacramento's secret sauce. We work closely with our partners towards a common vision, and I want to thank the Air District for being a leading partner in this work to transform mobility. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jennifer. We have enjoyed our active collaboration with the City of Sacramento and the Mayor's Office. I would now like to introduce Eric Ohana from Envoy.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Eric Ohana. I'm the co-founder of Envoy. Envoy is a community-based car sharing platform. We park our vehicles at apartment complexes, at hotels, and at offices as property amenities, typically exclusive for the tenants or the residents of that property. I'm really excited to talk to you about two programs that we're working on here in the Sacramento area. The first one is a grant that we were awarded from the California Energy Commission, and the second is funds that we're getting from Electrify America to deploy into communities here and around Sacramento. So for the California Energy Commission, we have 30 cars being deployed in 15 sites. So each site gets 2 dedicated level 2 chargers with 2 dedicated vehicles. Those vehicles can be accessible by community members for personal use, but we're also allowing people to use them to go drive for the gig economy, so they can actually make personal income with these vehicles. About 75% of these vehicles are going into disadvantaged communities. We think that's going to be extremely impactful for those community members. They're typically late adopters. They're not thinking about electric vehicles for their next vehicle, and this gives them their first access to this technology and to these vehicles, but they're also able to make personal income with these vehicles. And with what we're charging them to use these vehicles, we believe that they're going to see, or they're going to be earning more than 30% more than the current minimum wage. So we think that it'll add a lot of different benefits to those communities. Each vehicle can support up to 2 full-time jobs or even 10 part-time jobs. Next slide. So this is just a little bit more detail about the programs themselves. On the CEC side, again, we are installing level 2 chargers. Our partner on that program is actually ChargePoint, and we are installing dedicated chargers for each one of those vehicles. We have already identified all those properties and have contracted with those properties to install those. On the Electrify America side, for this first tier, it's going to be a total of 71 sites and 142 vehicles. This slide is a little outdated, but it's outdated because it gets updated almost every day. We are actively signing agreements almost on a daily basis with site hosts. We are up to about 26 signed agreements here already for the Electrify America program, but every week that is growing. So our goal is 71. If you saw on the previous slide, we are trying to put our vehicles and our sites all across all the districts within the city of Sacramento. We are still looking for more sites, so any council members that might have stakeholders that would like to see these vehicles at their properties, please feel free to contact us and give us any kind of suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. We look forward to collaborating with Envoy in the near term. And now we'd like to welcome Nathan Walsh.
Good morning. My name is Nathan Olsch. If you could hit the slide, please. My name is Nathan Olsch. I'm the Executive Director of the Franklin Boulevard Business District, as well as the the Franklin Neighborhood Development Corporation, where I serve and represent 600 businesses, 160 property owners, as well as 10,000 residents and 7,000 employees in South Sacramento. That said, our journey has been long, and we continue to strive to better our community. We are overlaid with several different zones, as mentioned before. We are in the disadvantaged community area. We're also part of the Promise Zone. We're also part of the Economic Opportunity Zone, which is equity for our area of low-income folks. That said, we do have a lack of infrastructure in our district, and this is one of the issues that really pertains to us. And in partnership, as alluded to before by Jen Grass, is partnerships are key. A few of the folks in the room that we do have is from the Air Quality Management District. We have Paul and Gary. They were part of the SACOG endeavor of Civic Lab. This began last August, and this was one of our biggest opportunities for us to be able to not only put us on the radar, but to partner with Electrify America, with RT and other folks. I do also want to mention with our council members and our supervisors from the county, this has been a huge boon for us as well. We haven't had this quite of opportunity or investment in our district for quite some time. That said, Civic Lab, at the end of it, we just ended not too long ago. This allowed us to partner with RT. This is a $400,000 investment that we garnered from an investment opportunity through all of the partner agencies, specifically through STA, Sacramento Transportation Authority funds. With that, it allows us to be able to provide mobility options that once we never had. We don't have a fixed route in our district, so about from 21st Avenue to 47th Avenue, this is a huge issue for us because that's where predominantly most of our services and our markets are located. So our nearest bus route is actually half a mile away from a supermarket, which one of the other big issues is we have one city tree. I will repeat that, one city tree. So for somebody to walk a mile or half a mile from a bus stop to a supermarket, it feels like a mile in the heat. Imagine a mom or somebody with groceries with a kid. To be able to access those opportunities is dearth, right? So as we're moving forward, next slide, please. We are beginning with our Smart Ride transportation. It'll begin August 1st. Our ceremony ribbon cutting will be at Capitol Commerce Center, the formerly known as Campbell Soup Factory, at 9 a.m. If you haven't got the invite, you formally have as of now. So the other thing that I should mention, if you go to the next slide again, one more time, please. The last thing that I do want to mention is the mission and the value or the vision of Air Quality Management District is very clear and is contiguous with what we're trying to do, which is clean carbon, free air for all. You know, solutions in our district, we have, you can see the transit stops. More importantly, it connects down to Kaiser as well. So not only for our district corridor, as an advocate for South Sacramento in general, this is one of the big issues that we've been trying to solve for many years, but haven't got to until this moment. That said, we did get investment from Electrify America to be able to provide shuttle buses as well thereafter. So that said, my time is up, I believe. But I do want to thank all the partners, everybody that has been part of this opportunity to better our community. Thank you. Any questions? Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. We look forward to the ribbon cutting ceremony on August 1st.
Thank you. So we do have a handful of questions here from Director. So we'll start with Vice Chair Guerra.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. A couple things. One, I do want to thank all the partners here who pulled this together, particularly also our city staff who've done this. I've got a few points here, you know, and I'm glad to see that at least on Envoy and on the bus, so the Franklin Boulevard bus shuttle, we're looking at some of the disadvantaged communities, but with the boundaries such as like Jump and our EV car share, and in general, what I'd like from a policy perspective is that many times when new products are being deployed, they're going to the densest areas. And if we can actually put that screen back up of where we had, I think Envoy had their map. There we go. Most of the time, the maps don't look like the one on the right. Most of the time, the maps of these services look like the one on the left, where you have services going to areas with higher income, higher accessibility, so a good example is when we look at the boundaries where Jump and the EV car share go, they all land around 14th Avenue, and the majority of those communities within that boundary are on the preponderance, folks who are choosing to look at EV car share, you know, from a from an environmental perspective. Also, maybe they don't want to deal with another vehicle, but not from an economic necessity. And when you go further south and further north, and even in the unincorporated areas of the county, South County, there are a lot of communities who a vehicle is an expensive piece. So I hope that that as we develop our public policy and the different stakeholders who are involved in these pieces are pushing the private industries, because even as I think our city staff mentioned, the transition point, it's a transition that we're trying to use. It's all being geared by private business. None of these, with the exception of maybe the Franklin Boulevard District, which is a quasi-business, quasi-government entity, are government businesses. The private businesses are, at the end of the day, are looking to making sure that they run their business. And many times, the low-income communities are not the starting point to make sure that they benefit. So what I'd like to see is to make sure that when we move at the beginning of our programs is that we take that focal point in mind and making sure that that's taken into consideration. The last piece is I wasn't clear on what the red dots were. Now those are all different charging stations that ChargePoint's going to be putting out that you're using. Is that correct, Aaron?
So the red ones are actually locations that we've already identified.
Those are already identified.
The yellow and orange ones are contracts we've already signed.
Okay, I see.
So those are the ones that are red are ones that we've actually inspected, have gone out there. We're either negotiating with the property owner or on some level. But on every one of those sites that we sign, there will be dedicated chargers there that are installed.
Good. And I'd like to work with you guys on this, and I'm sure some of my other colleagues. We should be looking at some of these technologies as economic development tools, as we mentioned earlier, particularly if you look at where our small businesses in disadvantaged communities are growing. They are the highest employers, but they're also many times communities that are not used to dealing with government and the bureaucracy or knowing access to all of these new ideas that are coming up. And I'm specifically talking about like the Little Saigon community, different small businesses, even on Franklin Boulevard. And I think having a better connection with them to say, hey, this could be a tool to drive new folks. I mean, if I'm coming up to 99 and I need a charging station, you know, it's probably easier for me to get off of Florin and go charge in Little Saigon than trying to battle something out in, you know, in another part of the city. So I think it could also be driving points to help also some of our old retail facilities that have been dying because of the freeway construction. So if we could look at that as an economic tool and say, okay, how can these investments be helpful to spur economic or foot traffic to some of these areas? With that, I think this is a great move, good work for our Air District partnering and all the partners involved, and also Mr. Gonzalez, great presentation, and I look forward to working with you guys more on this.
Thank you. And we have some additional questions from Director Kennedy.
First I want to say that this is very exciting. 30 years ago, this is what I did for a living. I'm glad smarter people took it over and so we could see it happen. And so it's well done by staff and all of the partners. Mr. Olsch, I have just one question if you could come to the podium. The key to the success of this is going to be, particularly on Franklin, with all of the hurdles that we have.
No pressure.
Is going to be getting the word out and spreading the word. As chair of RT, I'm having the same conversation with RT staff. What are you guys doing to make sure that people are aware that this service is available and how to use it?
Correct. Very good question. So currently we are, so I should preface this with I do speak Spanish. We have a predominantly Latino community, 48% roughly Latinos. And so the business community and the employees and staff, we're leveraging that because of the language barriers that we encounter. We also have a strong Hmong community as well, the further south you go. We do Facebook ads, for example. That's the easiest low-hanging fruit, if you will. But we also got posters, so working with RT staff to encourage our businesses, our community members to pass out the flyers, to put up stuff. We're doing actually an event at La Familia today, an ice cream social to be able to highlight RT and what we're doing for microtransit, and then the other investments from EA, Electrify America, to help present that. We did get $170,000 from the Transformative Community Climate Community grant to be able to parlay these efforts into other opportunities as well. So we're using that to hire somebody to also hand out information, but create a playbook that will double down on this strategy to be able to present that as Jump Bike or as other opportunities come to fruition. We're trying to be proactive about that as opposed to being reactive, where something's already out there. We want to be ahead of it and say, 6 months from now, here's what to expect, so it's not foreign.
Maybe you could, I know you guys do business walks regularly. Maybe, include something that they can post in their business when your next business walk and get the businesses into. Yep. That's great. And I want to thank you for your leadership. Not every PBID stepped up the way you did and pushed it as hard as you did.
It's important for us.
The one area of disappointment is you have Bel Air on the map, but no La Superior.
I talked to RT staff about that. No comment.
Thank you.
But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Director Kennedy. Director Harris.
Thank you, Chair. Nathan, can you want to pop back up? So the thing that's
Sorry,
really,
I didn't get to you fast enough so he could stop you before you sat down.
the thing that's really exciting about the program in Franklin neighborhood is the fact that it's microtransit and your lack of a fixed route and how rigid the fixed route is. And so we've had great success in Citrus Heights. And if we can replicate that in your neighborhood and using electric vehicles, it's obviously a double win. I think it's very exciting, but Director Kennedy is right. It's all about education and getting the word out there. We've also found that EVs are really being adopted by people in modest income communities. It serves the need for that population. So it's all good. So congratulations. I think that the rollout of this program is very exciting. I'd also like to say, as far as street trees, we are working on an urban forestry master plan, and if we will be successful, and we will be bringing trees to your neighborhood.
I greatly appreciate that. I do want to mention that we are doing complete streets, so there's a heavy investment in our district as well. We have a lot of efforts moving forward. I obviously didn't have time to talk about them all, but pertinent, but they're all contingent on each other and as we move forward, so thank you.
So good things ahead. Thank you for your efforts. And Eric, could I ask you a question? So what is your strategy for keeping all of the vehicles charged in the car share program?
Well, the great thing about our service is the car has a reserved parking spot, and at that reserved parking spot, there is a level 2 charger. And an individual can't actually end their reservation until the vehicle is plugged in. We know that. This card talks to us, so we don't actually allow somebody to end their reservation until the vehicle is plugged in.
Nice. So that was a piece I was not aware of. That's great. I just wanted to make a comment that I've been working with several developers in student housing around Sac State and encouraging them to contact you, and I believe they will soon, about developing car share in their development. So I think that the student population will be adopters of this as well, to a significant.
Was student housing development, and this idea actually came out of that, so we would love to participate.
Well, there's a lot of units, a lot of beds going up near Sac State, so I think it's a great market to tap into.
And since we are kind of being broadcast live, if anybody thinks there's a property that should be included in this program, they can go to our website. It's envoythere.com, and there's a place that you can nominate your property. And from that link, you can put in the property information, and we'll contact the property and try to get things going. Yeah, it's envoythere.com, envoythere.com, and then nominate your property.
Very good. Well, I think on our side of the dais, we'll do our part to help make you be successful.
Yeah, one last point. This wasn't mentioned, but Electrify America, for anybody utilizing these services, they can actually access DC fast chargers in multiple locations all over the city, and those charging is for free. So it's really free fuel for anybody using these services as well.
And will those fast chargers be available to the public generally as well?
I believe so. Yes, they will be generally available for the public, but anybody using our vehicles for the gig economy to make money will also have that savings of not actually have to paying for electricity or fuel for the vehicles.
Excellent. Appreciate your efforts. The last comment I want to make is, and I brought this up before, I've been driving all electric for 5 years, and I've found that electric vehicles will meet the needs of probably 90% of our residents, because if you really assess your driving habits and your needs day by day, most people drive less than 55 miles a day, so the range of an EV is perfect. And on those rare occasions when I need to take a long trip, I rent a car, and I'm dollars ahead every time. It is so inexpensive to own and operate an EV in terms of maintenance and the cost of fuel that once you figure it out, you will adopt an EV and you'll never go back to internal combustion. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to note the time. We're at 9:45 and we still have, and I don't want to cut off the discussion because I know we have other questions, but we still have the consent, another item to discuss, and 2 items in closed session. So with that, Director Lee?
I just want to chime in saying that how excited I am about in particular the collaboration amongst the various partners. Some things we're doing in the city of Elk Grove is working in conjunction with Go Green Foundation as well. So I will look forward for any sort of opportunity to collaborate along those lines. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Fox. And welcome, Director Fox.
Thank you. Just very quickly on the micro transit, the RT down to the south side. In about 60 days, could you give us back some information about the success? Being from Citrus Heights, I know how quickly hours went from a few riders to 200 riders a day.
Yeah.
And it would be interesting to see how that works on the south end, because I like that regional concept.
Yeah, fair question, Director.
If
Yeah,
it's
so
possible,
we're gonna,
and if the chair would allow it, I'd like to, about 60 days out, see how that's going.
yeah, we'll give monthly reports, I believe, internally, regardless, but we're working heavily with RT to make sure that this becomes successful.
Great, thank you. And for Envoy, whenever you're ready to come to Citrus Heights, shoot me an email. Thank you.
Okay. So with 60 days, we'll get a report back to the board?
You're going to be hearing on this topic from us frequently, because as you can see, it's a lot happening and it's very exciting, and we're going to keep you posted. So we'll definitely bring you back information.
Okay, thank you. And do we have another speaker?
Yes, just a couple of slides to wrap up.
Okay, go ahead.
And now for the program that started it all for our region, our community car share. Phase 1 was the pilot program for this project. We were able to bring 8 zero-emission vehicles and 8 level 2 chargers and 1 DC fast charger to 4 DAC subsidized housing complexes. To date, over 6,000 trips have been taken, 92,000 miles driven, and over 100 members. This pilot program has provided mobility access for employment, medical, education resources, and an overall better lifestyle for the residents of these communities. Our success with this program has led to Phase 2 and Phase 3 in order to expand this wonderful program. Phase 2 is currently in process, and we are on track to have 6 ZEVs and 6 level 2 chargers at 3 DAC subsidized housing complexes by December 31st of this year. Phase 3 should begin in 2019. Ride Hail is a pilot program introduced in Phase 2. This Visa logo credit card will provide added flexibility and transportation options to the participants at Phase 1 and Phase 2 locations, as well as eligible DAC residents at large. This Visa card is merchant code restricted and will allow participants to use sustainable transportation options such as regional transit, Lyft, Uber, Jump Bike, as well as Connect Card. Last but not least, Clean Cars for All. This program focuses on providing financial incentives for low-income, disadvantaged communities participants to replace an older, higher polluting vehicle with a clean transportation alternative. There's $5 million from cap and trade funding available for this program. Once the program is implemented, it is eligible for annual expansion funds. This table shows the potential incentive amounts available to participants. Incentives can be used to replace older vehicles with newer or pre-owned clean technology vehicles with provisions to provide access to alternative mobility options such as public transit, car sharing, van pooling, ride hailing, and electric scooters through a preloaded Visa card strategy in lieu of a replacement vehicle. 3 benefits of the Clean Cars for All program. 1, replacing older vehicles with newer or pre-owned clean technology vehicles, thus promoting clean technology. 2, alternative transportation options. This will be served using the same prepaid Visa logo card strategy that is going to be piloted in our community car share program, thus promoting multi-mode transportation. 3rd, the educational component, informing participants of the Clean Cars for All program, the availability of ride-hail job opportunities, which would in turn expand EV ride-hailing in DAC communities, thus improving access to clean technology for all. We are currently working with ARB and hope to have an agreement before June 30th of 2019. Funding is essential to realize our vision of clean, carbon-free air for all. Currently, we have a regional commitment of $13.3 million and a potential of $21 million in future funding. Many of the current funding sources for our zero-emission mobility efforts have geographic restrictions on where the monies can be spent. In the future, we look forward to modeling these successful efforts and expanding these programs to the entire district. The Sacramento region is an example of this. This future funding and multi-agency regional efforts will help to continue the synergy and allow the zero-emission mobility efforts to flourish in the capital region, as well as moving us closer to our vision. We thank you for your time. Staff and partners are available for any questions you may have.
Thank you. I think we got out most of our questions. Any other questions for staff or the presenters?
I just wonder if we could get the contact information for Eric. He said, contact me if you might have a location in your district.
We'll make sure that
Can you email us maybe the contact or?
Well, we'll make sure that we collect all the contact information and we'll send a note to the board so you have it easy access.
Great, thank you.
And then just one correction on the slide. You can see we have some problems. In your packet, you should have the legend for the pie chart. The numbers are, the dark blue is 44 million from Electrify America, and the light blue is 34.3 million, which is the regional commitment that you see on the table.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Thank you to all the presenters and staff. That was great. Okay, so let's move back to the top of the calendar here, and we'll take the consent calendar items. Anything need to be pulled?
No.
Any public comment?
No.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second? So I have a motion by Gary, a second by Harris. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Okay. Just to check, because I didn't get to talk to everybody, anybody got a hard stop today? Because we have to have everybody here at 10:20. Okay. So let's go ahead and try to take this public hearing. We still have 2 items to do in closed session. So we'll just keep an eye on 10:20 as our hard stop in closed session. So with that, we'll move on to item 6, which is adopt Rule 419.
Well, good morning. My name is Kevin Williams, and I lead the rule development program at the district. The rule being proposed today limits NOx emissions from equipment that is not regulated by any current district rules. In the interest of time, I'll give a brief presentation that focuses on the reasons why we're proposing the rule and what its impacts are. EPA made a finding that the district has a deficiency in its implementation of reasonably available control technology at major sources. And as a result of that finding, the district is under a sanctions clock. And adoption of Rule 419 will stop the sanctions clock. The rule is being brought before the board in 2 phases. Today's rule is going to apply only to major sources, and it's going to address the immediate need to stop the sanctions clock. Later this year, we're planning to bring back revisions that will set NOx limits on non-major sources as well, which will give us an additional time to address some technical issues that came up during our discussions with the smaller sources. We have one major source that's subject to the proposed rule. The natural gas-fired ovens at that facility already meet the rule emission limits, so there won't be any cost for equipment. As a result of adopting the rule, there won't be any changes to equipment or operation, so there won't be any environmental impacts, and the action of adopting the rule will be exempt from CEQA. There are some additional costs that the source will incur from source testing requirements that are needed to ensure compliance with the rule. So our recommendations today are to conduct a public hearing to determine that the adoption of the rule is exempt from CEQA, to adopt the resolution approving the rule, and then to direct staff to forward the materials to CARB for submission to EPA. Thank you.
Thank you. So first, we'll open the public hearing.
We have no public comment.
We have no public comments. Do we have any comments or questions for staff?
Yeah.
Director Natoli?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Question then, in the staff report, it talks about that when you were doing some of the workshopping, you were looking at both this new Rule 419 as well as Rule 414. And I guess I just wanted to have an understanding that, and you're going to be bringing that back as I understand it, but and that affects water heaters, boilers, and process heaters, less than a 1 million BTU. How far down does that go? Does it go to household water heaters? Are you going to be looking at that in the 414? And if so, what? Just very briefly, Kevin, could you tell us what you ran into that you hadn't anticipated in the workshops that will trigger you to do some additional review?
Director Natoli, maybe I'll just cover that one real quickly.
Okay.
Not a problem. So the changes we're actually proposing to 414 is an existing rule and already covers down to residential water heaters. And primarily that rule and regulation is a point of sale regulation, requires that people that are purchasing and or selling and installing smaller water heaters are already buying something that meets the standards. The change we're proposing for 414 at the moment is an actual exemption from it for hot water pressure heaters, primarily that are typically diesel fuel fired. These are small ones that places like regional transit may be using when they go through and they're cleaning up stations and areas and things of that nature. And there's about 15 to 20 of those units, and there are no certified devices. So we're simply adding an exemption to the existing rule to be consistent with some of the other districts in California that have come across this equipment.
So that would be mobile portable equipment that's either truck mounted or...
That is correct.
So used for cleaning streets and such?
That is correct.
Pressure washing.
Pressure washers, got it. Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I'll move the item, Mr. Chair.
So we have a motion by Guerra, a second by Kennedy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we will adjourn to closed session.